Good day, everybody. As you can hear, the wind is sure howling out here on the edge of the Great Plains in the U.S. Hello to chat, Kevin. Nice to see you flying along. As you can see, I got the 170 loaded in. I can see you there. And East Birds, long time no see. It'll be good to have you in the chat. That's more than fine. Hope you're doing well. It's been a while. So we're carrying on Route 66 today. We're going to be flying. I was about to say it's a short flight. It is distance-wise, but given this wind, it may take us a while to get there. We're heading from Bloomington, Illinois, down to Springfield, Illinois, and it's shorter than the distance we flew last time. But with this wind, who knows? It's going to make it rather interesting. So just a little bit of information. So we're here at Bloomington, which was officially brought in as a town back in the early 1800s, and it was the county seat here in Bloomington. Most of the old city was destroyed by a fire in 1900 and was rebuilt. It's continued to grow. Several businesses are based out of here, including State Farm Insurance, which is a fairly well-known place. But we're heading down to Springfield, Illinois. Springfield was settled in 1820. A lot of people came through here. One of the most famous was a place where Abraham Lincoln lived while he was living here in Illinois before he was elected to president. Grew fairly well. Has a bit of a dark side as well. It was part of the Potawatomi Trail of Death in the 1830s, one of the entry points into the West when the Native Americans were forced westward. They came through here. Lincoln came here in 1831 for his first visit, but moved here in 1837, and he spent 6 years in the area here. Where he stayed, and then he moved into Springfield proper in 37, living for 24 years until he was elected. And the town's grown up since then, a lot of business and everything. It was a major place of activity during the Civil War. Units trained here, especially under Ulysses S. Grant. Typical stuff in the 1900s. There was riots, race riots, the usual stuff through the 60s, and of course major involvement in the wars, troops volunteering. And in 2006, they had 2 major tornadoes come through Springfield. So we're going to be flying from here. We're going to follow Route 66 down. Basically, it follows the I-55. We'll follow it over some of the smaller towns on the way. We're going to do an overflight of the town of Lincoln. There's a couple interesting things there. And then we will head down to Springfield, where we'll take a look at Springfield as well. And we'll be landing at the Springfield Airport. So, moving on to the more pressing stuff, we will get the Springfield weather here. Put it into the chat. There we can see winds are 230, gusting 40, 10-mile visibility, overcast at 4,900. We're going to go up to 2,500 feet, so we'll be clear of that. It's warm, 12 degrees, but oh man, is there a wind blowing pretty strongly. So it's going to make flying very, very interesting. So let's hop on board. We'll get fired up and get ready to go. All right, you can hear that wind out there. So we'll get the master on the avionics up. We'll throw on our beacon and nav lights as well. Let's kill the warning. I'll throw on the other one just so I can set up my panels. And I want the wind up on the screen. 31 knots on the ground. Wow. It's going to be very interesting. We'll be VFR. We'll throw that on. Bring up the screen over there. And we'll let it just range out a little bit. And from here, we're going direct to Springfield, which is... let's get that entered in. Oh, it's the range button. Let's get rid of that. That's the one I want. Kilo. Sierra. Go backwards for the S. Backwards for the P. And forwards for the I. And that will give us Springfield. Abraham Lincoln, capital, Springfield, Illinois. That's where we're headed. We'll hit the enter. See it on our route there. That's basically the route we're going to be following down. So with this weather, I would never fly a Cessna 172 in this weather in real life, and I would certainly never fly a tail dragger. You can see he's got the tail up over there with minimal effort. It's definitely very, very windy. Alright, so we'll get the fuel pump on. Just realized something I forgot to do. Go into controls, and we're not in a jet. Backwards for the P. Let's see if we can find where is single engine. It's not a complex. There it is. There we go. So put the mixture in. We're up. And we are good to start. Engine's up and running. We're going to turn some lights on. Panel lights there. It's down on the pedestal. Get our standby instruments up and the avionics up. Throw on our taxi light. So we're going to head over to runway 20, I believe it is. So we're going to taxi out here on Delta, then to Echo, Foxtrot, and up to runway 20. And we'll see how that goes. Everything else is pretty well set up. And we can go back here. We might as well put that onto the VOR. Actually, what I'm going to do is if we go to Springfield, let's see if they've got a VOR. They do. 112.7. So we'll come over here to the nav. 112.7. We'll put that onto the active. And we'll come over here to our nav 1. We'll go DME and bearing data for when we get in the air, and we can pick that up. And we can put the CDI back to that. All right. Let's head out. This is going to be interesting taxiing for you now. In that thing. These strong winds. Just gonna want to throw the tail around. Hello, Nick. How are you doing today? Oh, I spelled that wrong. And again, we're heading around here to Taxiway Delta. This is the FlightSim.to add-on scenery that I grabbed. Not doing too bad. Going to be an interesting flight here. The winds are howling. See the dirt being kicked up from the rear wheels there. See how this goes. Probably gonna have like a 30-degree crosswind or crab angle for the wind. And it's another November day down here. Actually, we're not gonna need to go all the way down to the end of 20. We're just gonna taxi straight down here to it. It's at the end of the line here. That wind's pushing my airplane around like crazy. Only 52 miles away from Springfield, so it'll be interesting. FS live traffic will be released. Who's making it? I'm not sure. I haven't been following that one. So we're going to go up to, like I said, 2,500 feet. That'll put us under the cloud layer. Pretty flat out this way, so not too worried about terrain. Yeah, I saw something. I think it was on the Sky Blue Radio Discord. Somebody was saying that they're getting some pretty heavy winds over there, or maybe it was Gavin's. I can't remember. Yeah, windstorms everywhere apparently. It's warming up here. Like we had yesterday, it was -12. Tomorrow it's supposed to be 9. So it's like almost a 20-degree difference. All right, so here we are at the runway. We don't need much more than this. We're only going to need about 1,000 feet with this wind to get up. Quickly get the brakes on. We'll come down here. We'll get all the lights on. And as mentioned, we're going to go to 2,500 feet. Dial that in. That'll put us a fair bit above the ground. Ground elevation here is 870 feet. All right, we're good to go. Here comes Kevin, trying to make his way down here in the tail wheel. I mean, you wouldn't be able to taxi in this wind in real life. Absolutely crazy getting blown around. All right, let's head out. Not even going to worry about flaps for the takeoff. All right. So we're good to go. So I'm going to go out. I'm going to make a left-hand turn out. We'll fly over the city, and then we'll head out. Brakes released. Power up. You got no flap takeoff. That's fine. We'll just let the airplane do its thing when it's ready. And up we go. I think we used about 800 feet of the runway. So we are going to go into autopilot. Vertical speed, we're going to go upwards, and we will go into heading mode. And as mentioned, we're going to make a left-hand turn. Yeah, almost a VTOL takeoff. I remember once when I was flying, we had a really heavy winds, so nobody was up. I was at the museum, we were doing some work there. And somebody came in and they slowed right down over the runway, and the winds were strong enough that he was just kind of hovering there about 100 feet off the ground in his small airplane. So we'll turn to the north. North-ish. There's the town of Springfield. There's the airport. It's the runway we took off on. That's the runway we landed on last week. And we started down over by the FBO over here. FBO fixed base operations. They usually service general aviation aircraft. Kevin. So you can check out our, if you come over here, our ground speed of 138 knots, and we're only reading about 190. Tells you what that wind is like. So we're going to circle around. We're going to pick up Interstate 55, and that is the route out for us. We're going to head to the west. There's the town. We're flying towards Bloomington itself. And if you remember from last week, Route 55, or Interstate 55 and Interstate 74 kind of do a box around the town. So we're going to pick up the box on the east-hand side and then head southwards. Along the interstate. You can see how we're drifting sideways here. If I come like that, there's our wind push. Pretty impressive. There's the interstate. See the interchange. We're going to pick this up. Comes down this way, and then we're going to follow it out. Oh, there's another airplane. Not sure who that is. What I will do quickly is I'm just going to come in here, general options, traffic, and I will turn on the name tags. I had them off for something I was doing the other day. Alright, somebody's up in a Baron, or a Bonanza by the looks of it. B36. Boston Elf. So there's Interstate 55. There's the airport off to our left. We should be at cruise altitude now. Yeah, so I'm going to bring my... Don't want to just get down too slow. I'll keep it in the green. We're going to go to 2450 on the RPM. I'll keep it at the top area of normal operating, and then I'm going to bring back the mixture. There we go. I get perfect fuel flow. 2450, top area of the green, we are good. Looks like the Boston Elf is going into land. I'm assuming he does not have live weather on. Dark. Bonjour, monsieur. Ça va? So there's him landing below us. So we look at our difference in our ground speed. Our ground speed is down to 74 knots. So huge winds today. But when you gotta fly, you gotta fly. I mean, the weather's still pretty decent. It's just windy. Give us more time to admire the U.S. as we fly down the route here. We're going to follow the interstate around, and then we'll pick it up as it leaves the bottom end of Bloomington here, the south end. And we start our flight down towards Springfield. Oh, very good. We're slowly following the turnaround. A little bit of an industrial area at the south end of town. I'm not doing too bad, Dark. Not doing too bad. Busy day yesterday, so today I've just been kind of taking it easy. And enjoying the flight. Didn't expect it to be this windy. But it's all good. There's that little cross wind push there. See how severe it is. Dark, are you expecting heavy rains as well, or is it just the winds? So here's the turn off, so we're leaving the bottom, I guess the southwest corner of Bloomington now. As we make our way along. So while we do this, just a reminder to anybody that's watching, all my flights are free for anyone to join in. Some of them are multiplayer, such as this one. Some of them are on VATSIM. Depends on what series we're doing. Information can be found on our Discord. And I'm quickly going to copy the Discord address over into the Twitch chat. There we go. So you're more than welcome to come, join in, and meet us for these flights. The times, dates, whether we're multiplayer or VATSIM, aircraft. All that information is posted on the Discord. It's also a good place for help. If you're having help with the sim, we have a lot of knowledgeable people around that can give you a hand. So we're leaving the town and we're back into the countryside now. See the interstate below, and again with the bypasses going around all the little towns. Oh, they're not helping? No. Which way's the winds going? Are they coming the normal way, or is this some weird storm from another direction? We get that here sometimes, and the usual things that help protect us end up having no effect. Kevin's doing okay. He's hanging in. Boston Elf is on the ground. Somebody's taking a Learjet up. Mr. Senator. The 14th one, apparently. So we're coming up now to the little town of Shirley, Illinois. You can see the secondary roads go through there, and there's the interstate doing its bypass. Claudia, hello. Welcome back. How are you doing today? It's interesting they're still playing the recording of winds like when you get on the ground, but we're in the air with high winds anyway, so I don't know why they would still be making that windy noise. You don't really hear it that way. Just have the regular wind noise, because once the airplane's in the air, it doesn't care what way the wind's going or what it's doing. It's just chugging through the air mass. Coming in from the west, dark, but that's your normal direction, so I guess it's just overpowering what protection you would have gotten. 28 mile per hour, yeah, well, that's strong. I was talking with somebody yesterday, just mentioning how mild for us this winter has been. We've had some days down in the minus 12 to minus 15, but for January, February, that's kind of mild here. Usually we get into the mild 30s, or the minus 30s, and sometimes down into minus 40. And we really only had one big snowstorm as well, so far it's been a fairly mild winter for us. And you can just see here with the winds how we're getting them. It's like dead flat, horizon to horizon. So there's no wind breaks, nothing to break it up. It just keeps building and keeps going. Same as you get across the oceans, which is why you get those heavy, high winds on the coast. There's nothing to break up that flow of the air. It's a little town of Funk's Grove coming up. And of course, there's your interstate, a little interchange. LA to Atlanta? I would say probably in the 3.5 to 4 hour range. I think it's just over 5 to go LA to New York. So, but LA to Atlanta, you don't have quite the diagonal. It's a little bit flatter. And Atlanta is a little bit further west than New York. So, yeah, I'd say about 4.5 hours. Yeah, I was saying, I think before you arrived, that our destination town today of Springfield, a few years ago, had 2 F2, which is the second grade of tornadoes, hit the same year, right in the middle of town. And they got pummeled pretty hard. This is kind of the edge of the tornado area, I believe. Although you do get tornadoes further east. I've been in Michigan and seen tornadoes coming down there, so they do stretch out quite far east. I mean, we've had tornadoes around Toronto over the years, so, but I think this is like the main area. Alright, we'll adjust a little bit. We're getting pushed here. Some very nice farm country. This is McLean coming up. It's the intersection of I-55 and Highway 136. There's 136 running through there. And I-55, you got the mandatory bypass with interchange. And we've got our town right there. 4 hours and 5 minutes. Okay. So 4 hours and 5 minutes flight time. Maybe 4.5 gate to gate. And I do like how it's easy to see the towns. I mentioned this last time, you get all the little bypasses and stuff. It's like a bit of a work yard here. And then the town. Heavy on the agricultural stuff out this way. Almost looks like, yeah, there is a railway running down this way alongside all of this. Thought I heard the engine. Snuck up a little bit closer. Next up, you can see here is the town of Atlanta, Illinois. Again, little community surrounded by farms, farmland. So I think if I ever do ride this route on my bike, probably going to be doing the secondary roads. I'll stay off the interstate. Be more at one with the things. Long hauls will probably be back once one of the weekend series ends. I'm trying to think of which one would end first. Probably the Norwegian series. So once we finish that one off, we'll go back to long hauls. We'll brush off the 787s. And we'll give that a try again. Another airplane I'm going to have to dust off and refigure out again. Amtrak train service San Francisco to Boston. Yeah, that's quite the way to do it. That's what, 3 days? So here's Atlanta. Atlanta, Illinois. See the train tracks, train station right here. Right in the center of town. You can see how it just like splits the town. You got half on one side, half on the other. I guess bringing up the question, were you born on the right side of the tracks? Then it looks like the train tracks do its own little jog around the town here. Oh, Boston Elf is back up in the air. We're back over the countryside for a few minutes, heading down towards the next town. So the next town we're heading to is Lincoln. And small town. And Abraham Lincoln actually practiced law there for from 1847 to 1859 before he was elected president. And it was actually named for him before he was elected president because he was part of the founding committee and helped grow the town. The town was founded early on, but in 1853 it was renamed to Lincoln. Oh, multiplayer bug. Everyone disappeared. I heard the engine vanish. So there's a couple college. There's Lincoln College there. A couple other colleges there. So not a lot of people, only about 15,000 people live there. But there's the Lincoln Christian University, the Lincoln College, and the Lincoln Community High School are the major educational places there. And it's more or less right in the center of Illinois. Chicago, believe it or not, is right up at the north end of the state on Lake Michigan. But Logan County, where Lincoln is located, is pretty much smack dab in the middle of the state. Actually, our next leg takes us on a more westerly heading, and we'll be heading out towards the border. Kevin, I hope you can still see me. Claudia, it took you 5 days on the route. Oh. That could be a bit of a bummer. Here's the town of Lincoln. You can see the airport. Lincoln Airport. The town of Lincoln's about halfway through our flight. So, interesting point. We're heading to Springfield, Illinois. It's one of, I think, 7 Springfields in the U.S. and has always been considered the Springfield that the Simpsons live in on the show. But it's not to be. They've said it's one. I think it's in Oregon. Is what it was based on. Yeah, I'm sure the wind's trying to force you up in that airplane. I've got the autopilot on, and I'm letting it do all the work. I've done a train trip from Moncton, New Brunswick to Toronto. I did that one. It was an overnighter. 23 hours, I think it took. It was enjoyable. I loved great views. I'd love to do the train from Toronto out to Vancouver. That's 4 days. Maybe soon. We'll have to see. Ground speed's only 75 knots. So we're getting like a 35 knot headwind. 40 knot headwind. We can actually take a look. 48 knot headwind, sorry. So it is still howling pretty good here. See, it's a little bit bigger town. Like I said, 14,000, 15,000 people living here. Looks like it's got a dirt strip and a paved strip. Railroad tracks going through town. So that's the I-155. Again, it's a secondary interstate. The I-55 travels out this way and around and reconnects over here. This is the secondary roads leading into town, the railroad tracks. So we've got the Lincoln, Illinois Secretary of State facility. There's the colleges are around here. We've got Lincoln Christian University. This is Lincoln College. Diamonds and everything. The Lincoln Park District off this way. And over here, somewhere over here, is the world's largest rail splitter covered wagon. Those would have been wagons that they used when they headed out west during the Great Migration. The Walmart Supercenter. We got a golf course down here. A bit further out. There it is there. It's the Lincoln Elks golf course. Got the rail line. This place you're not supposed to fly over. This is the Logan Correctional Center, otherwise known as a jail. And the Edward R. Madigan State Park. Which is all this area around here in which the correctional center is located. That. Oh, people are starting to pop back in. That is the town of Lincoln. There's the golf course. And the correctional center. And here we're picking up the I-55 again. Fairly straight route for this leg. And the clouds are staying at pretty good altitude, no real shifts there. So this is the town of Broadwell coming up. Kevin's having a Guinness to help him with the winds. You know it's bad when you're flying like this and you're tracking along a highway and it's really windy and you can look down and see that the trucks are passing you doing their 55 mile an hour, and yeah, it's a feeling of, oh boy, this is going to be a long flight. It's also a meal replacement, isn't it? So heavy and nutritious for you. So we passed over Broadwell. There she is back there. We're on our our way to Elkhart. Another great farming community. So the winds are lightening up at Springfield. I just took a look at the weather. It went from 16 gusting 23 to 11 gusting 17. So should make the landing a little bit easier. This is Elkhart coming up. Still haven't seen you pop back in yet, Kevin. Let's say we got the one guy back there. He's been there for a bit, but I don't know. Come on, 1st of March. Let's get this multiplayer crap fixed. Next town coming up is Williamsville. Again, you can see the giveaway bypass of the interstate. So after this, Gavin's doing a Q&A flight. I think we should all go over, jump in there. And ask him all the questions that we have. Here comes Williamsville, and Springfield's not too far beyond it. I think you can see the airport environs up ahead. So we're heading on a southwesterly course, kind of cutting diagonal from the northeast part of the state to the western part of the state. Interesting, this little extension out this way of the town. So we're going to fly over Springfield, get a bit of a look at it, and then head up to the airport to land. Kevin says he's back there, flying in his invisible jet aircraft like Wonder Woman, although it is a 170 tail dragger. So this is Springfield coming up. We're going to be landing on runway 18. The winds are at 190. Let me just grab that. And I'll throw it up in the chat. So winds have lightened off a little bit. And I'm going to see if I can find kind of important building before we head up to the airport. The airport's got like 4 runways. 3 runways. So 6 when you do the reciprocals. We're going to be landing on 18, and then it'll be a left-hand departure. Might even be able to get off at Bravo if the winds are strong enough. 5,300 foot runway, so we should be fine. Coming into the outskirts now. A couple tracks here. Looks like horse tracks for running horses. A little bit of a highway jog here. The interstate continues this way down along the eastern side of the town. We're going to push over more towards the center along this road here. We're going to follow it over, then we're going to cut down across the center of the town. Again, I'm looking for a specific building. We'll see if we can find it. There we go. I heard your engine come back on. Very nice. At least you're back at the end now. So this is Lake Springfield, and it was named after the Spring River, which kind of runs down across the north from the northwest, down across here, and heads out southeast over the northern part of town. In fact, we should fly over it in a minute. Just looking for where it will cross over, somewhere around here. See if we can see it. Should be in around this area. In fact, there it is there. There's the Spring River, which the town is named after. There's the airport. So we'll carry on down here. We'll circle back around the other side and then come in and land on runway 18. There's the river, winding its way around the north end of the town. There is a tributary over here, which kind of, or on this side, that kind of feeds down into Spring Lake. Alright, so this is the road we want to take. And coming up here, right in front of us, is the Illinois State Fairgrounds. Home to those delicious state fair foods such as deep fried butter and whatever else they serve. Some of them look pretty good, some of them I just don't understand. There's the fairgrounds. Alright, so we're going to follow the road down here. It's going to jog over a little bit. The water treatment facility off our right side, just going off the screen. And then we've got the fairgrounds, and we can see the railroad tracks coming in from the northeast into town. And there are splits here. The track goes, there's a line coming in from the northwest as well, and it diverges 5 or 6 lines coming in actually, all into the center of town. Keep an eye on where we are. So we're looking for West Madison Street. Keep my eye for it. It's kind of distinctive. Alright, so there's the Oak Ridges Cemetery. Right there. Those are the train tracks. Right. So down here, I believe it's that building right there that I'm circling, is the Abraham, or maybe it's this building. I'm not sure. One of these buildings in here, it's the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library. That looks like a memorial, so it's probably this. It looks like it's this one here according to the charts, the maps. So if I do go to Springfield, it's somewhere I'm going to want to visit. But there's Springfield. There you see the rail yards. And we got Kevin behind us. And there is the airport. So we're going to that looks pretty impressive actually. Sure, let's see if I can find out what that building is very quickly. So it's this building. This building here is the Presidential Library. That's the old state capitol. That's Union Square Park right there. So that's kind of the downtown. Alright, so let's make a turn westward. We'll loop around, come back up to the airport. Looks like a nice place. There's the runway we're going to land on. We have some, looks like tennis courts down here. Lovely golf course. Got some baseball diamonds. Of course, everything heads back out into the farm country. We're going to turn north over the road here. So airport elevation is 600 feet. So we're going to descend down to 1,600 feet for our arrival. So we got our landing lights are on, taxi lights are on, strobes are on, beacons on. We put the mixture full rich. And the airport's right off our side there. There's the runway we're landing on. Coming down now to circuit height. Hopefully next week the weather's a little bit nicer. It's not as windy. Though we didn't make out too bad, although we'll see how the landings go. Keep the speed up a little bit. You see it's a shorter runway. We'll probably get off at the other runway here. We'll cut back. We're going to be heading over and parking up down over there. That's the FBO. There's 1,700 feet. There's the end of the runway. 1,600 feet. Bring the power back up. Turn east. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Make the eastward turn. And then we'll get our setup to land. Alright, so autopilot is off. The east for base. Pull the power back. Start getting that speed off. Looking for the airport. There's the runway. Speed's back. First notch of flaps. And we're going to start to descend down. I'm going to trim for 65. That wind just heaving us around. And second notch of flaps. One thing I noticed about these planes is there's too much back and forth or up and down variances as you adjust power. It doesn't actually do it this much in real life, but it's alright. Saw Kevin go by there. There he is. It's a little high. The winds are about a 10-degree headwind, but it's still pretty strong, 15 knots at the moment. So we only have a couple knot crosswind component, which is not bad. It is going to meet our landing speed is going to be pretty slow when we touch down, our ground speed. It's 500 to go. You looking good, Kevin? I'm slightly off center. Speed's coming down. Down, don't want to run into the back of them. There we go. Can get off here, turn left. We'll use the runway here as our taxi point to exit the main runway. Nicely done. Alright, I'll turn up here and head over to the ramp. This is another runway, but that's fine. We'll just use it to get over. Landing lights and strobe lights are off. Flaps are up. Very interesting sky here. But it was a good fight. We made it. Is good. You can see how the wind is really pulling on our ailerons here. It's for smaller commercial airplanes going into the terminal there. We're going to take the next one up and go up to the FBO, which is located right here. Alrighty. Find a spot to park it. I think we are good. Not really seeing any ramp markings. So just put it over here in front of the building. There we are. So we're in and we're down. Everything's good. Strobe lights off. Everything else is on. We're good to shut down. Flaps are up. Mixture's off. Throttle's off. Lights are off. Avionics and mags. And everything is shut off. And it looks like I lost Kevin again. Right at the last minute. Anyway, that's going to do us for today. That's leg 2 of our Route 66 done. bit windy, but we're getting out into the Great Plains here in winter, so to be expected. Thanks for joining in. Again, if you want to join in, all the information's up on the Discord. I'll throw it up in the chat once more. You can find us under the name Digital Flight Deck if you're looking on Discord Direct. Thank you very much for joining us on this one, and we will see you on Friday for our next live stream, which is going to be down in the Caribbean as we fly from Antigua to Saint Martin. So I hope you join us there. Bye for now.